What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be looking at the best meta strikers you can get in FC24. We're going to go through a few different budgets. Strap yourself in. We're starting off with Balotelli, an SBC that you can still get to this day. Still got, I think, a good fair few days to get him done as well. A 5-star, 4-star nonetheless, which is always perfect. Great dynamic, 6-3 with a high-low. Already, the big thing with him is the 99 dribbling. I don't know why they've given him 99 dribbling but not 99 balance, but that is sometimes what happens. But in terms of this card, you whack the Hunter on him, you get an 8+ on the pace, which is always perfect. That would take him up to, what, 93? 93, and then obviously shooting goes up to probably about 86, 87, I want to say in total, making him a very viable card. He's got the strength, the heading, the dribbling is phenomenal. He's then got Trickster as the playstyle plus. What we do know, and especially with a card like this, yes, the dribbling might hold him back on evolutions, but we are getting double playstyle pluses. So the meta now is fully changing because we're now getting 2 playstyles at once. Obviously with the team of the year, that is going to be the first cards introduced with it. Then to follow, we'll have evolutions, we'll have other special cards that eventually will get them. That just shows you where they're going with this. Balotelli, 50k, worth it. We then have Alvarez. Now Alvarez, I love this card. This is the Trailblazer version. We do have obviously the Road to the Knockout, but it's mainly towards more the evolution of Alvarez, as he's not one that is in that huge high rating at the moment, which I still don't know why we don't have a 90 already. We have got an evolutions, which to be honest, by the looks of how they're releasing cards, would keep with the meta of the game. We've got Relentless Plus on him on this version, which isn't the greatest, but in terms of, like I say, double playstyle pluses and also the evolution, they will focus more on your Mbappes, your Haalands, your Ronaldos, and then there's so many other strikers, the Osimhens, all of that jazz. There's going to be so many options that Alvarez might fall a little bit behind the curve. That is where evolutions will really keep him up. But Road to the Knockout, or this version, is a solid card. We have, again, very kind of low budget now in Højlund. 4-star, 4-star. I actually really like this card. He is kind of now on the lower end of strikers in terms of what you've got, because from the Ultimate Dynasties, we've then had Thunderstruck, we've had obviously the Radioactive promo, the promo now in Fire and Ice, which I'm not a massive fan of, but then the big one in Winter Wildcard releasing a lot of strikers. But the Finesse Plus added any bonus to him, good pace on him, definitely a big build, not a bad striker. We then have this absolute monster of a free striker. I had to chuck him in because he is just brilliant. As a card that is free, he is probably the best literal free card. You've only, well, I'm pretty assuming all you had to do was play one match for him before like November or something like that to get this beats Haaland. He is by far in the 15, whatever, how many years I've been playing this game, that we have got for literally doing nothing. Objectives, they kind of don't count because you do have to put a lot more time in, even though it might only be like 5 more matches. Haaland trumps everybody. Same as kind of like the David Beckham. He was totally free, but even then, David Beckham went into the team and then went out of the team. Whereas Haaland, even with the objective, he still managed to do a few bits in the team. Now is slowly losing a bit of value, especially with only the 3-star. We have Oshala, 4-star, 4-star Nigerian radioactive card, and I think this was a perfect combination to add any women's to your team, because naturally having that radioactive boost, meaning you could put herself up front, then add in Hansen, Rolfo, Bonmati, Putellas. There is a lot of cards to come with that Barca team. The Liga F Barca team is absolutely nuts as well. There is going to be some massive cards, and if the team of the year does go the way that everybody is voting, it definitely will be an interesting one to see. We then have Jonathan David. Now, normally I wouldn't put in any SBC cards, but the fact that you can get this card for playing 3 draft matches, I'm pretty sure. I still got to do it myself, but the fact that you can do him for 3 games is phenomenal. He's a brilliant striker. Last year we saw him and Openda absolutely tear up Liga 1 with loads of special cards. He's a 3-star, 5-star, at least got the weak foot onto him. No playstyle plus on this version, but again, we could wait for an evolutions later on down the line for him, as again, the question more towards Openda, David, some of the lower ones like how Depay is. Do we see multiple upgrades for them? Or have we got to wait long periods of times before we actually get the upgrade? But I still think for, again, a card that you've just got to do objectives for now is definitely worth it. We have Jesus, A card that, to be honest, is kind of just there, if anything. I did like him a little bit more on the wing than a striker on his own. Definitely need a second duo player for him. But I think in terms of Arsenal, Prem, obviously Brazilian as well, got himself the first touch playstyle plus. He wasn't necessarily awful. He managed to get a couple of upgrades. I don't think he got quite to the max of it, but he definitely managed to get a little bit from it. And in terms of stats, we're looking pretty gravy from him. And naturally, Depay's got to be there as well. He is one that I didn't actually finish from the SBC, but I did get him in the year in review picks, which they have been coming consistently. Normally we get like 2 or 3 once they kind of get in there and then they disappear, but you can get some relatively decent SBCs from them. Depay was one that I really wasn't happy to fork out with, but in terms of the stats, he was always quite a nice one, but 400k in the mix of doing Mbappe just unfortunately for me was too much to kind of part with. Whereas now getting him, he's a solid card. And again, if we can get an evolutions later on down the line, whether we see him in the team of the season or any sort of promos up until like footies and Euros, I'm quite happy with this one at this moment in time. We then move on to Robin van Persie, a beautiful icon that is desperate for an upgrade. We have seen so many of these campaigns from Winter Wildcard, Thunderstruck, Destinies, Centurions. Now we're going into Team of the Year. Again, one of these cards that I'm unsure if we actually had a Van Persie Team of the Year. I want to say he might have done, but I cannot remember. It would have been very, very early on in the Ultimate Team lifespan, so I'm not too sure if he has managed to get an official FIFA one. I could imagine he's probably in one at some point, but in terms of the card, he's decent enough for about 80,000 coins now, but with the upgrade, that is where we're really going with Van Persie. We have Openda, naturally like our man Jonathan David, a solid card with incredible amounts of pace. I believe he is controlled in his acceleration type. 3-star, 4-star is slightly getting below the curve and no playstyle plus, but if you are looking for a card that can be upgraded, and well, not necessarily can be upgraded, but will be upgraded in the future, this is a man to definitely keep your eye on because the shooting already is fantastic, pace is almost maxed out. All we need now is a little bit more dribbling and then just to finish off the shooting, and he's got himself a great build. We then move into Di Natale. Again, like heroes, he is one that will get an upgrade soon, but already this hero card is phenomenal. We love Di Natale, still very expensive in terms of an actual hero. We've seen a lot of them drop in price over the course of these past 3-4 months of the game being out, but Di Natale always handles it easily. To say we've had multiple hero upgrades, upgrade packs, player picks, triple threat and normal. I don't even know what the first one. It weren't the Champions League ones. We had something before the triple threat, and I cannot remember what they were. It will come to me at some point, but Di Natale hasn't had one. Last year, it took him all the way until FUT Captains, which was I think the second promo or one promo before Team of the Season. I definitely want to see a 90 Di Natale before too long, as this card is phenomenal, but now the upgrade would be even better. We then have one of the best SBCs you could have physically done. I did him on the second account, as naturally I was doing kind of the lower SBCs at that point there, and he is brilliant. For the period of time of probably like 2-3 weeks, he was in everybody's team. He was like 60-70k for an SBC and was absolutely golden. If I didn't have Eto'o, Mbappe, multiple strikers that were slightly ahead of him in price, then he would have definitely been a card that would have been straight onto the main team, but he is brilliant. He's got the height, the pace, the shooting. Dribbling wise could be better with that agility balance, but naturally this card just in game was brilliant, and a 4-star, which is perfect. We then move on to Kolo Muani. I don't actually have this card, but I have the FC Founders upgrade into that 88 for him, and he's brilliant. He's such a big striker with an absolute rocket on his foot, as well as then some very good dribbling. They're very similar from the FC Pro Live card, and obviously the Founders upgrade, which can be upgraded again, which is what I'm hoping for. But this card is just monstrous. He was kind of the starting gold card that everybody used from PSG. He was the clown walkout to start with, because Mbappe is obviously French striker in PSG, same as Katoto, but actually Kolo Muani is putting himself on a name, and it's probably a good thing that he is there. And then Fernando Torres. I love Torres in this game. They really got him right with the kind of extra, well, taking away the cards and changing him into what he is. But this Winter Wildcard is another great addition to the Torres franchise because he is brilliant. The 5-star, 4-star, great pace on him, shooting's brilliant. Yes, he's got the quick step playstyle plus now as well, which again just absolutely murders people going forward. He's just a phenomenal striker. We move into Smith. Very much on the back end now. We have got the Centurions version or just the normal. It doesn't matter which one. There's only a +1 between them. When it comes to strike, especially icon strikers and also their Centurions upgrade or just a +1, I would always kind of venture towards the lesser priced one because a +1 is not going to give you much unless you got a skill move upgrade, a weak foot upgrade, maybe a different playstyle plus that just changes it. Say they've got press proven, but then the next +1 goes up to finesse shot or power shot, then yes, that's fair enough to go for that one. But when a card is like 200k more and the only thing that changes is 1 pace, 2 shooting, 1 dribbling, always go for the cheaper one. You do not want to be paying for that dynamic. Voler, beautiful card. Starting to definitely come down. The 3-star, 4-star starting to have its work on him. And naturally, he kind of is up there. A little bit less than Di Natale, but definitely in the better realms of a striker. He kind of takes out Govu, Papin, kind of your Berbatovs now, which is natural anyway. But he's kind of underneath. You've got Ginola, you've got Di Natale. He's kind of on that Diego Forlan. I would personally put him a little bit ahead of him, even in the triple threat version. Voler has always been a brilliant card. Chip Shot Plus, probably not the greatest playstyle, but we can move with it, and he still is a wonderful striker. And next to him has got to be Forlan, naturally. We have got the Triple Threat Heroes, was an SBC that is now expired. We will see, I believe the year in review picks doesn't include the heroes. I don't think it includes heroes or icons, I'm pretty sure, but I know naturally with the last year in review it did equate to base icons, so you could have got say Pele's normal base icon, but you couldn't get say for instance a Forlan. His SBC was a little bit expensive, but you did get 3 cards, Forlan, Hermoso, and I want to say Sanchez, the female Atletico Madrid, naturally following the whole Atletico chain, going with a men's version, a women's, and also a hero from the Atletico Madrid franchise. And again, good striker, but he definitely is now slightly off the pace in terms of it. Butragueno, I know he does have a left wing version, which would be more into the wingers. Still like the striker version, even though, yes, the 3-star skills will let him down in the top echelons, but the 5-star weak foot is always going to be brilliant. He's got the pace, he's got the shooting, physicality, yeah, stamina's good enough, dribbling, phenomenal, and he does have the technical plus rather than anything scoring based. Still does his business. He's definitely coming down in price a little bit, but a nice striker that we will see later on in the game feature very heavily. And then João Pedro, one of my favourites from this year so far, going from a silver all the way to this 89 road to the knockout. We managed to find him at like 86 rated, which I think was his first rating in the second account from Champs Rewards, and we've held on to him ever since, and he has just been a breath of fresh air. Normally I don't normally like silvers that go into like the high-end special cards because it just tends to be, their animations just seem very silverish. This card, and I think even last year they did really well to kind of patch that almost upgrade from a bronze to like a 95 where it just doesn't work. It started to feel a lot better for these cards. It doesn't work on absolutely everybody, as certain stats just really hinder a card, but I really like him as a striker. He's definitely got the price for it, and a 4-star, 4-star, which is absolutely magical. Eto, on the other hand, again, what can we say about Eto? He's a top-end icon striker, still coming in at a beautiful price. 4-4, managed to get him very untradeable. The first year I've ever managed to get an Eto. He has got the quick step playstyle plus, and he just is brilliant as a striker. He links up with Mbappe. I believe we've got Garincha on right wing. We've got Son player of the month on left wing, and then obviously Eto and Mbappe up front, and they feed off each other. Mbappe with the rapid, I want to say, he might have quick step as well actually. Both of them have some sort of pace mechanic for a playstyle plus, but most definitely Eto rocks it all. Smith, Sophia Smith is a great trailblazer from very early on. She is in the links of a Team of the Year honorable mention. So if we don't see her in Team of the Year, at the minimum, we hopefully see her in an honorable mention, as EA love to give them extra cards a bit of a boost as well. So we could see a 90 or 91 if she doesn't manage to get a Team of the Year. I don't know where the women's Team of the Year voting is actually going. So if anybody knows the full team kind of thing, what they expect, and if you have been following it, let me know down below. The only thing wrong with this card is going to be the composure, but naturally that should be updated very, very soon. We then have Mr. Wazza. Not a fan of the card, to be honest. I've put him in here because some people do like him when I did a review on him. Some people absolutely swear down by this card. I've not been a fan of Rooney. I've only had one card that I really liked to Rooney, and that was going to be the cover star, naturally. It was like 97, 98 rated, and unfortunately, it just hasn't been it for me. Rooney's one of my all-time favourite players, and unfortunately, he just hasn't had that icon that is translated for me. Even the Prime last year was good, but realistically, by the time it came out, I already had better, and it just wasn't worth sacrificing. He just didn't give me that extra bit. So I'm hoping we do see a bigger upgrade earlier on into the kind of campaign of EA, as when it comes to cover stars right at the end, it's not as if I'm playing 50, 60 games a week. It just isn't happening. If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders. We move on to Alex Morgan, another one that I don't think is actually in the Team of the Year vote. I'm pretty sure Rodman was, Smith was, and then you had the other women that wasn't in the American team. Unfortunately for her, she's going to have to kind of deal with just the 90 at the moment. Still a decent scorer. She's definitely got the pace once adding the Hunter. You add a little extra bonus to her shooting. Balance can be the only thing that really sways her off. She has got the finesse plus, and she's a great super sub in my team. She's relatively higher priced as well, so she's kind of worth the mention. We have Griezmann. Unfortunately for Griezmann, he's just in that kind of category at the minute where we now need a bigger upgrade for him. He's very, very good on the ball. Dribbling wise is phenomenal. He's got the finesse plus on a lot of his cards. This version of him does have the technical, but I do think with Griezmann now, it's kind of going to be team of the season or a 95, and that's really going to be where he stands. He had a good run. His gold card was phenomenal. He then got the player of the month, which was decent until the team of the week came out. And then we've got a road to the knockout, or team of the group stage, in fact, that did the absolute business. Nkunku, one that we haven't really seen, to be honest. It is a shame for him, as much as I kind of want Chelsea to stay down because I don't need them being taken over our spot again. Nkunku is definitely missing them performance-based cards, which I think he definitely could have if it wasn't for the amount of injuries. But the Winter Wild card is absolutely beautiful. Striker can potentially wing with a Hunter. You've got yourself a lovely card that was very expensive on release. Technical playstyle plus. It's got the 5-star, 4-star as well. He could really go far if he does manage to get into them endgame promos. Then we look at Tevez, another great UCL hero. There is very few, to be honest. When it comes to UCL heroes, it's almost like we got them and then they disappeared. They literally are nowhere. You can obviously just go buy them on the market, but there was impacts for what, a week and a half, something like that. And then they just left like nobody's business. I was kind of hoping we got the same... Not even the same hype, because the World Cup Heroes was obviously very good, but it was the World Cup. Everybody was mentioned around that time, whereas these are just Champions League ones. So maybe we get it every time the Champions League is on. That could be a really cool thing. You could almost have them from the Tuesday to the Thursday, all back in packs. At least it would add something to them. But unfortunately, we are left with just scratching our heads of the next time we're going to see them. More than likely in a base triple threat UCL hero sort of player pick or something like that. And then have Benzema in the radio... Oh, this is not even the radioactive. We've got the team of the week here. That is an absolute fraud. Did we actually get... Was this radioactive even more expensive, or was it just the same rating? Because that does seem to be a bit odd. So his radioactive is 92. We'll see if we've got him later on, but we've got his 92. Let's change that out. There we go, much better. So it must have been when I've kind of clicked on the list, gone for strikers, it might not have pulled him through being a centre forward, but he is a 4-star, 4-star now. Very expensive price of 600,000, controlled lengthy, and in terms of kind of him as a striker, he is very much a ball to his feet sort of striker. You can get runs with him. If you're going to go with a hunter or with something like an engine to keep that agility balance up, then naturally he's going to be able to run that little bit more. But in terms of how you want to play with him, he's got himself the finesse shot plus. He's always been good at a shooting card. He's never been that sort of Mbappe pace. He's got the finishing. That is what he's good at, and he phenomenally has a wicked strike on him. He's got a bit of heading as well, but naturally it is on the feet, to the feet, and play off him. Now, CR7. He is... Well, I don't know if he's going to be Team of the Year, to be honest. I think if CR7's going to be Team of the Year, I can imagine it would only be in that 12th man if they do that again. I can imagine they will, because they are trying to keep Messi in Team of the Year, which naturally winning the Ballon d'Or, winning the World Cup, that is naturally going to happen. Mbappe's got to be the other one, and Haaland is an absolute must. That they are the three that is the most guaranteed that you probably will get, meaning Ronaldo wouldn't be in that set of three. So the only way CR7 manages to get into this Team of the Year is through the 12th man. Now, I don't know how many other players are linked for the 12th man, and naturally that is under EA's discretion, as there technically isn't a 12th man in the Team of the Year voting. It is just decided. So Ronaldo's probably getting it. He will get a 5-star, 5-star. He more than likely will be 98 rated, and he will be an absolute GOAT. Whereas this card is still incredible. He is definitely pulling himself up. Like we said last year, when we knew that Ronaldo was getting the big drop, Messi was slightly getting more of a drop. You was going to see these cards at a high end again. It just would take a little bit longer. You wouldn't see them in their gold versions as they were 2, 3, 4 years ago, but definitely by the end of the game, we will have a 99 Ronaldo and a 99 Messi. It's just guaranteed. Now, another UCL hero, in fact, one that impressed me a hell of a lot in terms of the upgrade. Villali was woeful as a hero. As the base hero, you cannot say that he was worth anything. He was rubbish. Now they've gone with a double upgrade from him. He's got an incredible dynamic. Love the hero dynamics on these cards. It adds something different. You don't see it all the time. And in general, a 4-star, 4-star, and a very, very good player. Pace, brilliant. Shooting, brilliant. Dribbling, decent enough. We've got the reactions, good amount of composure. Agility balance could do with some work, but you could always go with the engine. With the finishing already at 94, I'm very happy with the card. And he's got the power shot plus. If you've ever used it and if you are good with it, it's a decent thing to have. We have Sami Kerr as the radioactive. I was waiting for that dynamic to change. Another card that is due in to the Team of the Year voting. Whether we see her, again, I don't know. But if we do, an incredible card nonetheless. She was absolutely brilliant in the radioactive promo. I loved her pace. Her finishing was always fantastic. She felt good on the dribble. Strength-wise, decent enough. Never going to complain there. And we do have the rapid playstyle plus as well. For me, strikers go one or two ways. If you get the finesse or obviously the power shot, I'm happy days. If then you get something like a rapid or a quick step, again, it is just as good as the others. So I'm very happy either way with them. We then have Courtois, a new winter wild card. He has changed his positioning into a striker, and I feel like when it comes to cards like this, like we saw Yashin in the centre mid, in centre back in fact, and we saw somebody else. I know we saw goalkeepers, but when we see goalkeepers come out, Czech is in the mind. Courtois, I'm thinking Czech, I'm thinking lengthy, I'm thinking incredible. He isn't quite Czech. Czech was lengthy on his attributes and did have an incredible amount of stats. Courtois is definitely good. They added the dribbling into him, which is phenomenal. But in terms of lengthy, that is what's really going to drop this card back. And I want to say he can't be full lengthy. I'm pretty sure he was controlled. Did he get controlled lengthy? No, he's just controlled. And that will be the biggest step between Courtois and Czech, is that has a massive impact, because that's the whole point of why they brought in acceleration types. It adds that flair, and that's what made Czech unbelievable. But he's still 6'6", and he's still coming in at 114k, which is still very expensive, but he is a 91 as well. We have Thunderstruck Dalglish, a beautiful 91, a great SBC if you did finish him. You did have the option of a loan at the very minimum to try him out. He's a 4-star, 5-star. He did cost a little bit of coins, and he does come out in the mix of Eusebio, Mbappe. Zidane was out just at the end. I know Hullet might have been out right at the end of Dalglish, but that is a lot of options to go with when you've got millions upon millions of SBC coins to go into him. That naturally could have been just lost in between the Mbappe, because you did get 2 Mbappes in the space of getting 1 Dalglish, but he is absolutely phenomenal in himself. Drogba, on the other hand, really liked this card. In terms of the powerhouse striker, he does it so well. He's got himself the aerial plus, which it's okay for him. I would have really loved a power shot on Drogba. His finishing is just sublime. His pace, his strength works really, really well. Not quite in just a pass the ball through ball, everything to him. But if you can do the mixture, get the ball to his feet, maybe you get a little run onto the ball, he just absolutely smashes it. And with the finishing, he just is an absolute destroyer in there. And I cannot wait to see another upgrade from him. Then we move into some of the 92s. We have got Salah as the winter wildcard. An incredible card. He is designed more for wing. I've kind of put him in here just as he is a striker naturally. But for me, I wouldn't go down the middle unless you have got someone like Drogba next to him. You could have a good link between the two of them, one being more the agile, pacey player, whereas Drogba is more the powerhouse and isn't necessarily known for his very much left stick dribbling. They could complement each other very, very well. And to be honest, if you're playing him on the right striker, that left foot going on the inside is always going to be nice. We then have the winter wildcard, Raul. A lovely 4-star, 5-star, a very, very well received upgrade for him. His card most definitely has had probably the most traction whenever I've done icon strikers, icon SBCs, tier lists. Anything has always mentioned the Raul's base card. Then getting an upgrade onto him is a very, very good upgrade. A double upgrade, I'm pretty sure. I want to say he was a 90 prior to this. Now getting a double upgrade to the 92. He was 90 rated, so he's gone from the 90 to a 92. He's 160 on his base, and then he's got up to 765 with just a generic double upgrade on everything. There's nothing too crazy, but having the 4-star, 5-star left foot with the finesse is always going to be a nice addition to the card. We move into one of the big boys in Centurions, Eusebio, a huge SBC, which most definitely is very, very meta. The only thing now is looking back at these, with the introduction of the double playstyle plus, I see where EA are going. No longer is your Pele, your R9, your Ham going to be the most meta card in the game, because now there's double playstyle pluses. And apparently all Team of the Years, all Team of the Year icons will have that double playstyle plus. So it will be that case of now 2 is always better than 1, basically. So if you have done Eusebio, when we do get a double playstyle plus Eusebio, you best get saving for them coins again, because it is just the next way, and I can imagine we will see 3 playstyle pluses during Team of the Season. It's very clever, but also very sneaky, whereas Eusebio is still going to be endgame regardless. Then we have Fire Neymar, one of my favourites. Love Neymar in every version. Him, Ronaldinho, and also a bit of Vinny this year as well. The Thunderstruck is absolutely gold. But in terms of the striker Neymar, we've always loved him. Player of the Month Neymar, Team of the Year Neymar. I miss them sort of cards coming from him, but we do have to normally wait for Team of the Season to see that 97, 98 to really come out. This card is still going to be brilliant though, nonetheless. He's got himself the Trickster Plus, as we always know. Finishing's brilliant. He's got the dribbling, he's got the passing. He just always is that playmaker in front of goal. Then Harry Kane. We've obviously gone by rating if you haven't really assumed this by now. Harry Kane's team of the group stage. I'm not a big fan. I've never really been a big fan of Kane or Lewandowski until they get into that team of the season. It's just my playstyle. For some reason, I can use the likes of Benzema, but I can't really use Kane that very well. If he gets in front of goal, he's definitely scoring it. But it's the pace that really lets him down in my eyes, and it just might be my game style. Some people absolutely love him. I remember doing a video on, not necessarily on Kane, but on strikers, and then literally the next game I played against him absolutely destroyed me 3-0. It's one of them things. You either love him or hate him in the game, and I'm just not a massive fan of him, even though I can see his worth slightly. Now we've got 3 Thierry Henrys in his lovely Thunderstruck icon. That is what it feels like playing against him, because they got him so right this year. His Thunderstruck, his normal base, the extra, just even the 10 extra balance just shows what they can actually do with this card, and he is just phenomenal. The striking part of him is just brilliant. He's got the pace, the dribbling, the balance has been upgraded by 10. We've obviously got a decent amount of physicality, but he just is a monster in front of goal. The next thing we need is a 5-star, 5-star Henry, double playstyle plus with power shot rapid. You're absolutely killing the game with him. Puskás, another huge one from obviously the Thunderstruck icon promo. 4-star, 3-star, definitely kind of took for granted last year is 5-5, which was natural from the FUT birthday, whether we see that again. But stats, again, for out of him is just nuts. This is where we get into the really high rated cards. Gerd Muller's next. I think he's definitely done well to keep his kind of level at this point. Maxed out finishing, maxed out positioning, almost maxed out shot power. Adding then a bit more onto his obviously pace. You don't really need a chem style based around shooting because you've maxed it out. So you can then do what most of the team of the seasons kind of do, is you go for whatever playstyle maxes out everything else. You go for the engine for a bit more agility. You could even just go for passing if you really wanted to. It isn't going to change too much of the card because long shots, I'm not too fussed for a striker. Penalties, if you've already got one, you've already got one. You can't really go with the composure because it doesn't upgrade. So you have that ability to choose a chem style that just maxes out as many stats as possible. We then have Lewandowski, very much like Kane, so a quick overview with him. Power header, which is nice for his sort of build, but most definitely not the most vital in terms of a striker for me. Again, some people love him, some people hate him. We have Haaland in the Ultimate Dynasties. He does have a road to the knockout and also this version, both at 94, as well as that 87 that was free. This has got an upgrade onto his skill move. I would like a little bit of weak foot as well, but I can guarantee we see that with the team of the year. Whether we see a 4-star 5-star or a 5-star 4-star, that will be decided in, I think, about 2 weeks. I want to say we're getting the Ultimate Team of the Year promo. In terms of those shooting, is always going to be naturally. He's just an absolute Drogba, but on absolute steroids, because he is just a monster in front of goal. Then we have Cruyff, one of my favourite icons on the game. He is just brilliant in any version. When we had the split of the base mid prime, just easy. Everything worked. Everything was easy. Cruyff has always been just perfect in any version that you can get. You could literally have the base version in Team of the Season still being worth over 1 million coins. Very few icons ever keep that sort of value, whereas Cruyff is just naturally that good. And if you've ever played with him, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We then have Pele, one of the higher rateds now in the 96. We got the Winter Wildcard icon. He is a 5-star, 4-star with quick step, and we are learning that we could be seeing the double Playstyle Plus promos. That will be interesting because at the moment, Ronaldo and Ham are both leaked to be coming out. Vieira as the third one, and I don't know if it was Perez. I don't think it was Perez. There was somebody else that was leaked as well from the icon side. It will be interesting to see how they stack up against a card like this, because stat-wise, it's only a Playstyle Plus and a weak foot upgrade that really makes this any more worth it. Same as Ham, as we kind of said, with the double promo coming, or the double Playstyle Plus promo coming for her, add in, if she keeps the same, a 5-star, 5-star, say Power Shot Plus. Rapid is going to be very interesting to see what actually improves, because that card is going to break the price market, literally. Her and Ronaldo are just going to be crazy icons, because Ronaldo already is a 5-star, 5-star. I want to say he's about, I'm pretty sure I saw he was about 6 mil now, which is always incredible to see where he dips at. He's 5.9 with probably the panic that the 90... I'm assuming 96, 97 comes out, because I don't think they give him 98, 99 just yet. I feel like that would be during the footage promo, but just adding another Playstyle Plus onto him will be very, very interested. And then finally, one of the best cards on the game that is actually playing, Mbappe. Pretty much guaranteed to get a Team of the Year. More than likely goes to the 5-star, 5-star at a 98 rated card. I don't think they give many Team of the Years 99 anymore. I'd imagine Messi probably will, just purely on the basis that I believe the MLS is over at the minute, so that he isn't going to get any performance-based cards, so they're pretty much safe, other than the cards that they're going to put in, say a FUT birthday. If they wanted to do that, then naturally they could. But Mbappe is Mbappe. Gold, first informed, first promo or player of the month, second player of the month, or the road to the group stage. He is all absolutely incredible.